Jason stared out of the viewport of the research shuttle as it descended toward the alien planet. He had always dreamed of traveling among the stars, but nothing had prepared him for the sight of the city below. Towers of sparkling metal and crystal stretched into the sky, and streets glowed with soft, shifting colors. Alien shapes moved among the buildings, tall, slender beings with shimmering skin, some with multiple arms, others with delicate wings. "This is incredible," Jason whispered to himself. "I never imagined anything like this." He checked his equipment nervously. The mission was simple: gather data about the planet, observe the alien culture, and avoid interfering with their society. Jason was an engineer, not a diplomat. He had never imagined he would be part of a cultural ceremony. The shuttle landed gently on a platform near a central plaza. A group of aliens approached them, moving gracefully, their movements almost like a dance. They spoke in melodic tones Jason did not understand, but their gestures were friendly. "Stay calm," Jason muttered. "Just follow their lead." The lead alien, taller than the others and adorned with glowing ornaments, approached him. This was Queen Lyria, though Jason had no idea. She moved with a quiet authority that demanded attention without needing words. "Welcome to our city," a translator device buzzed in Jason's ear. "You are invited to our ceremony." Jason nodded awkwardly. He was used to simple greetings, not elaborate ceremonies. He glanced at his fellow humans who were already following the aliens. "Just go with it," he whispered. The plaza was filled with other aliens. A large platform rose in the center, decorated with glowing crystals that pulsed in rhythm with the alien music. Jason felt a strange mix of awe and fear. He had never been in a place so beautiful, yet so unfamiliar. As they approached the platform, one of the aliens gestured for Jason to step forward. He hesitated. "I don't think I should." "It's okay," a fellow researcher whispered. "They're inviting you. Just follow their instructions." Jason stepped onto the platform, and instantly the atmosphere seemed to change. The music grew louder and the aliens formed a circle around him. He noticed Lyria standing opposite him, her glowing eyes fixed on him. Suddenly, he realized something. The ceremony was not just a welcome. The gestures, the symbols, the way the aliens were bowing and extending their hands, it was a marriage ceremony. "Oh no," Jason thought, panic rising. "I didn't agree to this. I didn't even know it was happening." He tried to step back, but an alien gently guided him forward. The translator device buzzed again. "You are now bound to Queen Lyria according to our traditions." Jason froze. "Bound? I didn't mean this," he stammered. But the aliens did not seem to understand panic. In their eyes, he had already agreed. The ceremony continued. Lyria extended her hand, and Jason, unsure what else to do, took it. A surge of energy passed between them. A harmless pulse, but one that felt strangely binding. He could see the respect and approval in the eyes of the surrounding aliens. They were celebrating, not condemning. Jason's mind raced. How could he explain this? How could he undo it? He looked at Lyria, who smiled gently, almost as if she understood his confusion. You didn't mean to?" Jason began. The translator device chimed. "No words needed. Your bond is accepted. Trust will grow." Jason swallowed hard. He had never imagined he would be in this situation. Married to an alien queen by accident. And yet the alien laws were strict. Refusing now could cause an interplanetary incident, something humanity could not afford. He tried to calm himself. "Okay, think like an engineer," he muttered. "Analyze the situation, find a solution." Lyria gestured for him to follow her, and he did. She led him through the city, explaining their customs through the translator. Jason was fascinated despite his anxiety. The city was powered by crystals that glowed with inner energy. Floating platforms moved without wheels, and the aliens communicated through subtle gestures as much as words. "Humans are very adaptable," Lyria said, as if reading his thoughts. "You learn quickly," Jason blinked. "You really think I'm doing well?" "Compared to other species, yes." "Humans have unique skills," she replied. "We notice them." Jason felt a small spark of hope. Perhaps he could navigate this world after all. He didn't understand all the politics or customs, but he could learn. He was human, and humans could solve problems when faced with impossible situations. As they reached a large building at the heart of the city, Jason noticed guards stationed at every entrance. Lyria glanced at him. "Do not worry. You are safe here, she said. But you must understand our society. It is unlike yours, Jason nodded. I'll try. Inside, the palace was even more magnificent. The walls shimmered with flowing patterns and light danced across every surface. Jason couldn't help but admire the design. Even in his panic, he recognized the beauty of alien engineering. You will stay here for a time, Lyria explained. We must allow your presence to be accepted. The people are curious about humans. Jason realized the truth. He was now part of a larger story, one that involved more than just himself. Humanity's reputation among alien species could be influenced by how he behaved. He sat in a room with soft, glowing furniture. Lyria offered him food, small, crystal-like spheres that emitted a faint light. He hesitated but took one, noting the sweet and tangy flavor. It was nothing like Earth food, but surprisingly delicious. You must eat to sustain your strength, Lyria said kindly. You will need it. Jason laughed nervously. Strength? For what? She did not answer directly. Instead, she led him to a balcony overlooking the city. The sight took his breath away. The streets glowed like rivers of color, and alien ships flew gracefully through the sky. Humans had barely explored space, yet here he was, part of a civilization far more advanced. This is incredible, Jason whispered. Lyria smiled. You will see more. You will learn. And perhaps you will teach us as well. Jason realized she was right. Humans had skills that could complement alien technology, creativity, intuition, and courage. Perhaps he could be more than a mistake. Perhaps he could make a difference. Night fell, and the city transformed. The glowing towers reflected in pools of liquid crystal, and alien lights danced across the sky. Jason felt a strange sense of belonging, even though he was far from home. He thought about Earth, his friends, and his life before this. Everything had changed, and yet for the first time he felt a spark of excitement. Okay, he muttered to himself. I didn't plan this, but maybe I can handle it. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the palace. Lyria's expression grew serious. It seems there are those who do not welcome humans. Jason's heart raced. What do you mean? There are factions who fear change, Lyria said. You are unusual to them. You must be careful, Jason nodded. Fear and determination filled him at the same time. He had stumbled into something enormous, something beyond his understanding. But humans had survived against impossible odds on Earth. Maybe, just maybe, he could survive here too. As he looked at Lyria, glowing in the soft light, he realized something even more important. This was not just about survival. This was about connection, understanding, and trust. If he could earn the respect of this world, he could change not just his fate, but perhaps the fate of humans among the stars, and so, Jason's accidental marriage became the beginning of a journey he could never have imagined. A journey of discovery, courage, and unexpected alliances in a world far beyond Earth. The morning light reflected off the crystalline towers of Lyria's city, casting shimmering colors across the palace. Jason woke to the quiet hum of alien energy flowing through the walls. He had slept surprisingly well, despite the shock of the previous day. Somehow, being married to an alien queen had become his new reality, and the thought no longer felt entirely terrifying. Lyria entered the room gracefully, her presence calm and reassuring. Good morning, Jason, she said. Today, you will see more of our city and meet others who may assist you in understanding our ways. Jason rubbed his eyes. Assist me? How? I'm just a human engineer. I don't know anything about ruling or diplomacy. Humans have talents we do not, Lyria replied. Observation, creativity, courage. You will teach us, as we teach you. Jason felt a flicker of pride. Perhaps he was not completely useless here. After all, humans had survived in harsh environments for millennia. Adaptation was part of their nature. They walked through the palace corridors, their footsteps echoing softly on the smooth floors. Lyria explained the customs of her people, pointing out symbols, colors, and gestures that conveyed meaning. Jason tried to remember it all, but it was overwhelming. You must not be afraid to ask questions, Lyria said. Curiosity is valued here. As they reached the main council chamber, Jason saw a group of alien nobles waiting. Some observed him with interest, others with suspicion. Their appearances were varied. Some had shimmering skin in hues he had never seen. Others had multiple limbs, and one even had translucent wings. Jason realized that their diversity was as vast as their intelligence. Lyria introduced him. "This is Jason from Earth. He is now part of our society." A murmur spread through the chamber. One noble, a tall figure with silver hair like tendrils, stepped forward. "From Earth?" she asked, her voice like a soft bell. "We have heard of humans but never interacted directly." Jason nodded nervously. "Yes, I'm Jason. I hope to learn your ways and help where I can." Another noble, shorter and stockier, scowled. "We do not know if humans can be trusted. They are unpredictable." Jason felt a twinge of frustration. He wanted to shout, "We survived every danger on Earth. We adapt, we solve problems, we endure." Instead, he took a deep breath. "I may be unpredictable," he said calmly, "but humans are also clever and we can solve problems together." Lyria placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "They will see. Time and action will show your worth." The nobles discussed among themselves, but eventually they agreed to allow Jason to join their council activities. For Jason, this was an unexpected victory. Humans rarely received such opportunities on alien worlds, yet here he was, accepted, hesitantly, but accepted nonetheless. The first test came sooner than he expected. An energy fluctuation had been detected in the city's power grid, a network of floating crystals that maintained both the city's lights and climate. The council feared it could destabilize the central hub, which would cause chaos. Jason was asked to examine the problem. Lyria led him to the power center, a large chamber filled with glowing crystals and hovering conduits. He could feel the hum of energy vibrating through the air. "This is unlike any technology I've seen," Jason said. "It's elegant, but delicate." He studied the layout carefully, observing patterns in the energy flow. Using human logic and engineering skills, he began tracing the source of the problem. The aliens watched silently, impressed by his methodical approach. After several hours, Jason pinpointed a misaligned crystal causing energy feedback. "It's simple, really," he said. "Just a slight adjustment, and the flow will stabilize." The chief engineer, an older alien with 4 arms, frowned. "We have tried this, but it did not work." Jason shook his head. "You were adjusting based on tradition. I am looking at patterns, not rules. Let me show you." He carefully manipulated the crystal, aligning it in a way that harmonized with the flow. Light pulsed evenly through the chamber, and the hum of unstable energy vanished. The alien stared in awe. "Incredible," said the chief engineer. "You have a human's intuition." Jason shrugged. "We adapt. We find solutions when we have to." Lyria smiled at him. "See? You are already making a difference." Word of Jason's success spread quickly. Many nobles who had doubted humans began to view him differently. Some even approached him to ask questions, hoping to understand his unique approach to problem solving. Over the next few days, Jason and Lyria spent time together, not just as queen and consort, but as partners in understanding and diplomacy. She taught him about the planet's culture, laws, and history, while he shared insights about Earth, human problem-solving, and his experiences in technology. "You humans are fascinating," Lyria said one evening as they walked through a garden filled with glowing plants. "You survive and thrive in ways we cannot predict. You are adaptable and resilient." Jason smiled, realizing that humans had something to offer this advanced society. "We also make mistakes," he said. "Sometimes big ones, but we learn quickly and we try again." Lyria laughed softly. A valuable trait indeed. But not all was peaceful. Some factions within the city viewed humans as a threat. Rumors spread that Jason's presence undermined traditional authority and could destabilize the throne. Jason sensed the tension, though he tried not to show it. "Are they plotting against you?" he asked. Lyria's eyes narrowed. "Some may, but it is not yet clear. We must be cautious but not fearful." Jason nodded. Humans had faced threats, from powerful forces before, and they had survived through courage and cleverness. He would not back down now. In the days that followed, Jason began forming connections with both humans and aliens who were willing to listen and learn. He discovered that his human perspective, seeing solutions where others saw impossibilities, was valued more than he expected. One afternoon, a crisis occurred that would test him further. A minor energy surge caused a disruption in one of the city's transportation hubs. Alien engineers were baffled, unable to restore stability. Jason examined the system and noticed a subtle flaw in the way energy pulses were synchronized. "Let me try something," he said. He adjusted the timing using his understanding of cause and effect. The transport system stabilized immediately. Aliens around him gasped in admiration. "You are remarkable," said Lyria. "Your presence here is already changing perceptions." Jason realized that humans could inspire trust through action, not just words. He was not a threat. He was an example of what humans could offer: courage, logic, and resilience. That evening, as he sat with Lyria, he reflected on his journey so far. He had started as a frightened human who accidentally married an alien queen. Now he was a participant in a society far beyond Earth's technology, slowly gaining respect and influence. "You are not afraid anymore," Lyria observed. Jason shook his head. "I am, but I am also learning. Humans survive. We adapt. That's what we do." Lyria smiled warmly. "And that is why you are valuable. Not just to me, but to all of us." Their conversation was interrupted by a messenger, a small alien with translucent wings. "Queen Lyria, there are disturbances in the northern districts. Some citizens are uneasy about the human presence." Jason felt a flicker of worry. Change often brings resistance. But he also felt determination. Humans faced resistance every day on Earth, from nature, from circumstances, from other humans. They endured. They overcame. "Then we must go," Jason said, standing. "We handle it together." Lyria nodded. "Yes, together." As they left the palace, Jason noticed the streets were alive with color and motion. Aliens watched them with curiosity, some with suspicion. He could feel the tension, but he also felt hope. If humans could survive on Earth, surely they could survive and even thrive here. And so, Jason's journey continued. From accidental consort to active participant in alien society, he realized that humans had more to offer than he had ever imagined. Bravery, creativity, and the willingness to act in the face of danger were strengths no alien society could ignore. As the sun set over the glowing city, Jason and Lyria prepared to face challenges together. The path ahead was uncertain, but Jason knew one thing: he would not fail. Humans never did. The city's morning light spilled across the crystal towers, but there was an unusual tension in the air. Jason noticed it immediately as he walked alongside Lyria through the palace halls. Guards moved with unusual alertness, and whispers followed them like shadows. "What's going on?" Jason asked, frowning. Lyria's expression was serious. "Some factions do not welcome your presence. They see humans as a threat to tradition. They may try to challenge me and you indirectly." Jason swallowed hard. "So they might attack?" "In their way, yes," Lyria said. "But they are clever. They may try to turn the people against us first. We must be prepared." Jason felt a familiar stir of determination. Humans had faced impossible odds many times. Wars, natural disasters, isolation. His species survived because they adapted and acted. Perhaps he could do the same here. They entered the council chamber where the alien nobles awaited. Some looked anxious, others openly hostile. A tall noble with silver-tinted skin and multiple arms spoke first. "Queen Lyria, if humans are allowed to influence your decisions, our traditions will weaken," he said, his voice sharp. "We cannot permit it." Jason felt a surge of frustration, but he kept calm. Lyria raised her hand, signaling him to remain silent for now. "I understand your concerns," she said, "but we cannot reject those who bring strength, insight, and courage. Humans are unusual, but they have value." Jason noticed the subtle reactions of other nobles. A few seemed thoughtful, perhaps even impressed by Lyria's confidence. He realized that while words could sway opinions, action would carry far more weight. Later in the palace gardens, Lyria spoke to Jason privately. "They may act soon. You must understand they are not all evil, but fear drives their actions." Jason nodded. "I've dealt with fear before. We humans, we don't always win with strength. Sometimes we win by understanding, by predicting moves, and by acting when it matters most." Lyria looked at him, admiration in her glowing eyes. "Then perhaps you are the right ally for these times." Their first warning came unexpectedly. A sudden energy surge shook part of the city. Alarms blared and guards rushed to contain it. Jason and Lyria joined the response team immediately. In the northern district, a group of aliens had sabotaged the local energy grids. The lights flickered and minor structural damage occurred. The citizens panicked, and Jason could see fear spreading. "We need to act fast," he said. "We can stabilize the system temporarily and then trace the sabotage." Using his human intuition, Jason analyzed the energy flow patterns. The aliens relied on rigid procedures, following protocol to the letter. Jason saw a solution they had not considered: a simple rerouting of energy combined with a timing adjustment. He worked quickly, using his hands and a small portable device to shift the flow. Light pulsed steadily and the immediate danger passed. Citizens stopped panicking and the city resumed its rhythm. The lead alien engineer stared at Jason. You acted without permission." "But it worked," Jason shrugged. "Sometimes action is better than hesitation. Humans, we learn by doing." Word of his quick thinking spread rapidly. Some nobles began to view him differently, realizing that his presence might not weaken their society but strengthen it. That night, in a private audience with Lyria, Jason felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "They won't stop," he said. "Someone will try again. Maybe worse next time," Lyria nodded. "We will face them together. You are no longer just an outsider. You are part of our defense, part of our future." Jason felt a surge of determination. Humans often survived because they adapted, and he would do the same here. He began planning strategies, drawing maps, and analyzing potential threats. His human perspective offered insights that the aliens had not considered, predicting behavior based on emotion, history, and instinct. Days later, intelligence confirmed that a faction within the city was plotting to overthrow Lyria. They believed Jason's presence would weaken the Queen and give them power. Jason studied the reports carefully, identifying patterns and possible weak points in their plans. "This is different," Jason told Lyria. "They are organized and clever, but I think I see their methods. They rely on fear, miscommunication, and rigid technology. We can use that against them." "You may be right," Lyria said. "We must act before they strike openly. But we must be careful. Not all who disagree are enemies." "Some can be convinced," Jason agreed. "Humans often solved problems by finding allies even among adversaries. Then we find the supporters, strengthen their loyalty, and prepare for the rest." They began organizing a small team of trusted aliens and humans willing to stand with them. Training and planning filled the following days. Jason taught them strategies that relied on observation, improvisation, and clever use of resources, skills he learned on Earth. "We may not be the strongest physically," Jason said during a training session, "but humans survive because we think, adapt, and act. We use what we have and we never give up." The team practiced quietly, preparing for any attempt to destabilize the city. Jason felt a growing confidence. Humans often faced overwhelming odds, and through courage, intelligence, and adaptability, they survived. Here he would do the same. Then came the first major test. Scouts reported a coordinated attack on several districts, targeting energy centers and transportation hubs. The faction hoped to create panic, weaken Lyria's rule, and discredit humans in the process. Jason and Lyria moved swiftly. They divided their forces, placing trusted allies in key positions. Jason coordinated the defense using strategies combining human improvisation and alien technology. When the attack began, chaos erupted. Lights flickered, transport platforms malfunctioned, and the attackers tried to exploit confusion. Jason stayed calm, directing teams to respond quickly. He anticipated their moves, predicting weaknesses and adjusting defenses in real time. One group of attackers tried to sabotage the main energy hub. Jason led a small team to intercept them. Using a combination of quick thinking, minimal force, and human intuition, they cornered the attackers without unnecessary damage. The city watched in awe. Aliens who had doubted humans saw a different side, a species that could act decisively, think creatively, and protect others in the face of danger. Back at the palace, Lyria coordinated communications and public messages, ensuring that citizens remained calm and informed. Jason's presence and leadership made a difference, stabilizing both the infrastructure and morale. When the attack ended, the faction had failed. Their efforts were exposed and leaders were apprehended without widespread destruction. The city celebrated quietly, recognizing the courage and ingenuity that had prevented disaster. Jason felt a mix of relief and pride. "We did it," he said to Lyria. "Yes," she replied, smiling. "You did more than survive. You proved that humans can be trusted, that courage and intelligence matter." Jason realized that his human instincts, problem-solving, adaptability, and quick thinking had saved lives and strengthened bonds between species. Humans were not just survivors. They could lead, inspire, and innovate. That evening, Jason walked through the palace gardens with Lyria, reflecting on the events. "I never thought being human could make such a difference somewhere else in the galaxy," he said. "You underestimated yourself," Lyria replied. "Humans have a gift, one that even the most advanced civilizations cannot fully replicate." "You are living proof of that," Jason smiled. For the first time, he felt more than just acceptance. He felt purpose. Humans often faced impossible odds, and yet they endured. Here, in a world far from Earth, he was doing the same. As night fell, Jason looked at the glowing city and felt hope. The faction might still exist, but he knew humans had a unique strength, courage, ingenuity, and the will to act. Whatever came next, he was ready. And perhaps, he thought with a small smile, this was only the beginning of what humans could accomplish among the stars. The city woke to an unusual stillness. Normally, the streets shimmered with movement, but now an eerie quiet hung in the air. Jason felt a tightening in his chest. The warnings they had received in recent days were coming true. The hostile faction had grown bold, and their plan was no longer hidden. Lyria stood by his side on the palace balcony, her glowing eyes scanning the horizon. "They are moving toward the central districts," she said calmly, though Jason could sense the tension beneath her words. "This may be their final attempt to challenge the throne." Jason nodded. "Then we must be ready. Humans survive by thinking ahead and acting fast. We can use what we know to protect the city." Together, they organized the defense. Jason's mind raced with strategies combining human adaptability and alien technology. Energy shields were reinforced, transport platforms were rerouted to avoid interference, and strategic choke points were prepared for any attackers attempting to breach the palace. "We need teams in every district," Jason said, "not just for defense but to help citizens. Panic can be more dangerous than the attack itself." Lyria agreed, assigning loyal commanders to each zone. Jason led a mixed team of humans and aliens, tasked with defending the northern approach to the city, a place vulnerable due to narrow streets and high-rise structures. As the first attackers arrived, Jason observed their movements carefully. The faction relied on brute force combined with advanced technology, expecting to overwhelm anyone in their path. But Jason had anticipated this. He directed his team to use traps, energy diversions, and clever maneuvers that exploited the attackers' predictable tactics. "Remember," Jason said, "they expect direct confrontation. Use the environment. Make them miscalculate. Humans survive because we adapt faster than they can." The battle began in a flash of energy and light. Explosions rocked the streets as attackers tried to force their way through. Citizens hid safely while Jason and his team intercepted key squads. Using clever engineering tricks, they rerouted energy flows to create barriers, and even the most determined attackers struggled to advance. In the midst of the chaos, Jason noticed a group attempting to sabotage the city's central energy hub. He acted immediately, leading a small strike team to intercept them. Using human intuition and speed, he anticipated their moves, cornered them, and neutralized the threat with minimal confrontation. The aliens around him watched in amazement. "Unbelievable," one of Lyria's loyal commanders said. "No one could have stopped them so quickly." Jason merely shook his head. "It's not about strength alone. Humans think, adapt, and act. That's what matters. Meanwhile, Lyria coordinated defenses from the palace using communication channels to direct forces and reassure citizens. Her calm presence inspired confidence. The city's inhabitants, seeing humans and aliens working together, began to trust in their leaders rather than fear the chaos. Hours passed. The battle raged across districts, but Jason's strategies began to turn the tide. He used knowledge of the city's layout to set ambushes and create safe corridors for civilians. Energy pulses controlled by him disrupted the attackers' coordinated plans, forcing them into confusion. Then came the critical moment. A massive force of attackers advanced directly toward the palace gates, hoping to strike at the heart of the city. Jason realized that conventional tactics would not work. He needed something daring. "We can't stop them the usual way," he said to Lyria. "We have to think differently. Humans take risks when necessary. They see solutions where others only see problems." Lyria nodded. "Do what you must, Jason. I trust your judgment." Jason gathered a small team and moved through a hidden maintenance corridor beneath the palace. They emerged behind the advancing attackers, using the element of surprise to disrupt their formation. Energy barriers and strategically timed diversions caused confusion, slowing the attackers' momentum. Jason led the final charge, combining human courage with precise strategy. He directed his team to key points, neutralized threats, and ensured that no civilians were harmed. Even the attackers began to doubt their strength against such unpredictable tactics. From the palace balcony, Lyria watched with pride. Jason's human intuition, combined with determination and creativity, had shifted the battle in their favor. Finally, the attackers retreated. Their leaders were captured, their plans exposed, and the city remained intact. Citizens emerged from hiding, cheering for their defenders. Humans and aliens alike acknowledged the bravery and skill that had saved them. Jason stood amid the aftermath, exhausted but relieved. Lyria approached, her hand glowing softly as she placed it on his shoulder. "You have done more than survive," she said. "You have proven that humans can stand alongside us, not as outsiders, but as equals." Jason smiled, though fatigue weighed heavily on him. I just did what I thought was necessary. Humans survive, we adapt. We act?" "Yes," Lyria replied. "And now our people see that. Your actions have changed perceptions, not just of humans, but of what we can achieve together." In the days that followed, the city slowly returned to normal. Repairs were made, celebrations were held, and citizens expressed gratitude for their safety. Jason's reputation grew. Humans were no longer viewed as fragile outsiders. They were allies, innovators, and protectors. Jason took time to reflect on the battle. He had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, yet he had persevered. He realized that humans' greatest strength was not technology or physical power, but adaptability, courage, and the ability to act decisively when it mattered most. Lyria often joined him in these reflections. "You have shown us something important," she said. "Humans are remarkable not because they are strong, but because they think, feel, and act in ways no other species can fully understand." Jason nodded.
"And maybe
That's why we survive in a universe full of challenges. We learn, we adapt, we protect those who matter. That's humanity." Even as peace returned, Jason knew that challenges would come again. Threats to the throne, to the city, and to the fragile trust between humans and aliens would never disappear entirely. But he also knew that with courage, intelligence, and the willingness to act, humans could face anything, even in a world far from Earth. One evening, as he walked through the quiet city streets with Lyria, Jason felt a sense of belonging he had never expected. Humans had always faced the unknown with determination, and here, on an alien world, he had done the same. "You have earned your place," Lyria said softly. "Not just as my consort, but as a leader, a protector, and a symbol of what humans can achieve." Jason smiled, looking at the glowing towers around them. "I never imagined all of this. But I know one thing. Humans survive. And when we face the impossible, we find a way." Lyria's smile reflected pride and trust. "Then together, we can ensure a future where humans and aliens thrive side by side." As the night fell and the stars shone above the city, Jason felt hope and determination. The battle had been won, but his journey was far from over. He had learned that humans could face danger, adapt quickly, and inspire trust even in a world far beyond their own. And more importantly, he had learned that mistakes like accidentally marrying an alien queen could lead to opportunities that no human could have imagined. With courage, intelligence, and an unwavering spirit, Jason knew that humans could leave a mark on any world they touched. The city was calm now. The battle for the throne had ended, and the streets glowed softly under the alien lights. Jason walked alongside Lyria through the central plaza, observing the citizens who moved with a renewed sense of trust and unity. "Look at them," Lyria said quietly. "They are no longer afraid. Humans are accepted here thanks to you." Jason shook his head with a small smile. "It wasn't just me. It was all of us, humans and aliens, working together. I only did what humans always do: adapt, think, and act." Lyria's eyes reflected pride. "And that is why you are no longer an accidental consort. You are a leader, a protector, and a symbol of unity between our worlds." Jason felt a warmth in his chest. He had started as a human engineer who accidentally married an alien queen, terrified and unsure of himself. Now, he was part of a thriving society, respected and trusted. Humanity's qualities, creativity, courage, and adaptability had proven themselves in ways even the most advanced aliens had not expected. Over the following days, Jason and Lyria worked together to strengthen the city. They held councils, repaired damaged infrastructure, and helped citizens understand that cooperation was stronger than fear. Jason noticed how his human perspective often solved problems that traditional alien methods could not. One afternoon, he sat with Lyria in her private garden, overlooking the city. "I still can't believe how much has changed in just a few weeks," he said. "I came here as a visitor, and now I feel like I belong." "You do belong," Lyria replied. "Humans have a unique strength. Your species learns quickly, adapts to challenges, and inspires others. That is why you have earned respect here." Jason nodded thoughtfully. Humans had survived wars, natural disasters, and countless hardships on Earth. They had always found ways to endure. Now, on an alien planet, he realized that humanity's spirit was universal. It could shine anywhere, even among beings vastly different from themselves. The citizens of the city began to embrace a new era. Humans and aliens worked together on technological projects, combining human creativity with alien precision. Trade expanded and cultural exchanges flourished. Jason often led demonstrations of human problem-solving techniques, showing aliens that sometimes the simplest solutions were the most effective. During one such demonstration, a young alien approached Jason. "How do humans remain calm under pressure?" The alien asked. Jason smiled. "We don't always. But we try to think, adapt, and keep going. Fear is natural, but it doesn't have to stop us. Humans survive because we act even when things seem impossible." The young alien nodded thoughtfully, clearly inspired. Jason realized that humanity's greatest gift was not just survival, but the ability to inspire others to face challenges with courage and creativity. Meanwhile, political stability returned to the city. The hostile faction had been disbanded, and many of its members had reconsidered their actions after witnessing the collaboration between humans and loyal aliens. Jason and Lyria's combined leadership created a balance of trust and respect that would shape the future. One evening, as the sun set and the city's lights reflected like stars on the ground, Lyria turned to Jason. "Do you ever miss Earth?" she asked. Jason thought for a moment. "Sometimes," he admitted. "But I've realized that wherever humans are, we can make a difference. We can survive, adapt, and help those around us. I feel like I'm part of something bigger now," Lyria smiled. "And you are. You have not only protected this city, but also shown our people that humans are allies, not threats. That is a rare gift." Jason felt pride and humility at the same time. He had started as a human engineer caught in a misunderstanding, and now he was a bridge between worlds. Humanity's qualities, resilience, intelligence, and courage, had been recognized and celebrated on a planet far from Earth. As the days turned into weeks, Jason settled into his new life. He and Lyria met regularly with citizens, engineers, and council members, addressing problems and finding creative solutions. He learned more about alien technology, and in turn introduced humans' unique methods for solving complex problems. Together they improved the city's infrastructure, healthcare systems, and communication networks. The alliance between humans and aliens grew stronger. Citizens began to see that combining their strengths created possibilities neither species could achieve alone. Jason's presence became a symbol of cooperation, courage, and innovation. One morning, a delegation from another planet arrived, curious about the recent changes. They had heard of a human who had helped save a city and strengthen the Queen's rule. Jason met with them confidently, explaining human approaches to problem-solving and cooperation. His ability to adapt and communicate impressed the delegation, and they left with respect for humans that went beyond legend. Later, Jason walked with Lyria to a quiet overlook above the city. The view was breathtaking, with the sun casting golden light over the crystalline towers and bustling streets below. "You've changed everything," Lyria said softly. "Humans are no longer strangers. You've shown that they can lead, inspire, and protect." Jason looked at the city, then at the horizon. "I didn't do it alone. Humans survived because we worked together. And now humans and aliens can do the same." Lyria nodded, her hand resting on his. "You have turned what could have been a mistake into something remarkable. You've shown us that even the most unexpected beginnings can lead to great achievements." Jason smiled. He thought about Earth, about humans' struggles and triumphs, and about the accidental marriage that had brought him here. What seemed like a mistake had become an opportunity to make a difference, not just for himself, but for an entire civilization. That night, as stars twinkled above the alien city, Jason reflected on the journey. Humans had survived against impossible odds countless times on Earth. Here, on another planet, those same qualities had allowed him to earn respect, form alliances, and protect a society far more advanced than his own. He realized that humans' true strength lay not in technology or physical power, but in courage, adaptability, and determination. Even in unfamiliar worlds, humans could thrive. They could face danger, solve problems, and inspire trust. They could create connections that bridged differences and shaped the future. Jason turned to Lyria. "I never imagined my life would take this turn. But I think humans belong among the stars, just as much as any other species." Lyria smiled, her glow bright against the night sky. "And you've proven it. Together, we will continue to show that humanity's spirit is something extraordinary, capable of change, hope, and progress." In the following weeks, Jason and Lyria continued to build a stronger, united society. Humans and aliens worked side by side, learning from each other. The city thrived, technology advanced, and citizens felt safe and respected. Jason's accidental marriage had turned into a partnership that changed the course of history. One evening, as Jason walked alone through the glowing streets, he thought about the journey he had taken, from an ordinary human on Earth to a respected figure in an alien world. He realized that humans' greatest trait was not strength or speed, but the courage to face the unknown and the determination to act when it mattered most. For the first time, Jason felt truly at home, not just in a palace or a city, but in the realization that humans could survive, adapt, and make a meaningful difference anywhere. The stars shone brightly above, and Jason knew that the journey was far from over. New challenges would come, new adventures awaited, and humans would continue to thrive among the cosmos. But now he had proof, even a human, accidentally married to an alien queen, could change the world, and so, Jason's unexpected journey ended not with fear or regret, but with hope, trust, and the promise of a future where humans and aliens stood together, stronger, wiser, and united.